Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, all you Pal Talkers. Thank you for joining us. Bobby Likas Car Clinic, exclusively here on Pal Talk Thursdays. Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our host, Bobby Likas.
And thank you very much, Bill. Welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house today. Tons of information that I want to share with you. This is our weekly show here on paltalk.com. I'm Bobby Likas. I am proud to be your host. Just consider me your personal car consultant. We have a palm up. So before I get started, because I have information about renewable, sustainable energy or hybrid cost-effective, sticker shock of automotive repair. Do you keep your car? Do you trade it? Do you buy a new car? All the decisions that are affecting each and every one of us in the house, in the room today. But first, we're going to go to Jimsterman. You know those Knicks. We're going to go to the first caller up, and that's going to be you, sir. I want to welcome you to Bobby Likas Car Clinic here on paltalk.com. We'll turn the mic your way.
Well, thank you. Jim Starman here. Glad to be here on the Bobby Likas Show. If you don't love us, you'll like us. All you do is spin your wheels and check for Bobby's latest facts and deals. Now, my question to you is, the hybrid cars that are out, I think GM is really a Volt, which is a hybrid. They keep calling it electric car. It's not fully electric. Do you think the future lies in hybrids with better battery power? And what do you think of Ford making their Sync give you turn-by-turn directions free with no monthly fee?
Well, we'll take the no monthly fee first. I think that Ford is ahead of the game. Obviously, they were ahead of the loan curve game when Alan Mulally met with 22 World Bank leaders, and I happened to be in an audience where he gave the account of that event, and Ford Motor Company decided to put all of their eggs into the loan basket and said their proprietary information, their futures, their buildings, their plants, they're going to hawk them, and they went there for $19 billion and came away with, recently the paper said 23, but actually it was $22 billion that they came away with. And during the decision making, and you'll get a kick out of this, during the decision-making prior to the presentation, they all were around a table, and the decision or the question begged to be asked, who's going to make this presentation to these bankers? And whereas, this is when he first took over, everyone turned to him and says, well, you are. And he said, imagine the feeling of having those, and these are his words, heard by yours truly, beady eyes focused on you as you're asking to borrow $19 billion and then to come away with $22 billion. So he was obviously ahead of the curve, and I believe that in no small part to his business acumen. I also believe it because he had experience with Boeing prior to that. Although some considered him a hatchet man, he did what it took to put them back into the black. And so he's done a great job with Ford. I have to believe that, and if you're in business, you know that it starts at the top. If you go in the morning to work and you're the leader, whether perceived or not, and just because you're the CEO or the host doesn't mean you're the leader. It only means that you have more responsibility, at least you feel it. So if you walk in the morning and you're chipper and you feel great, regardless of how you feel, it's your responsibility to say, good morning, all. I hope you had a good evening. We're going to have a great day, and that's really a great way to start off the day. And I believe that he has that presence, and I believe that's trickled down, and trickle is probably not the word, but I believe it's directly demonstrated by the Connect to Cars, and that's what it's called by the Consumer Electronics Association. I did moderate one of those sessions, in fact, the first one. It's on our website, Connect, the letter 2 cars, the number 2 cars, and Connect to Cars is the connectivity of the home entertainment computers, navigation systems, iPods. I mean, you can drive your car into your garage, turn your car off, and the car automatically syncs with your entertainment device in the house, and you download and upload. All of this is possible through electronics. The challenge has been, and I'll get to the point here, and then we'll take another palm up, I see, but the challenge has been before Ford and Microsoft, by the way, and on my panel, one of my panelists was the lead national leader, and I forget his name now, I apologize, but he was from Microsoft, the automotive side of Microsoft, and this was some 4 years ago that he was working with Ford to create what's called the head unit, and that's the radio that comes in the car. Also on that board was a gentleman from Alpine, who is a very smart man, Stephen Witt, who said that over the past 3 years, their head units, that's the radio replacement, had been down, their sales 10% per year. And he said, we're going now into the solutions business, not into aftermarket radio installs, because the architecture design of electronics in cars really needs to be there so that you can add attachments to it. And that's another whole show that I'd love to do with someone. Hold your palm up if you want to get in. And please, and I'll be glad to turn the mic to you. So, Jim Starman, that's a very good question. And what, Bill? I'm sorry. What was the first question? If you can, I get off on a tangent sometime. But Jim Starman, if you still have the mic, or we'll turn the mic back to you if I've not answered the first, or it seemed like you had several questions there. But Ford's Sync at no charge is a terrific way to sell new cars. It's a terrific way to give us what we want. And we want to personalize our automobiles, and yeah, we want our cake and eat it too, and Ford's helping us to do that with Sync, and I believe it to be a good link, the Sync, and it's going to be similar to what GM is doing. GM with their OnStar, of course, as you know, there's about a $20 a month cost for OnStar, maybe 16 or whatever it is, renewal. But General Motors is sending you notices when it's time to change oil and those sorts of things. I have a challenge with that. I don't have a challenge with GM. I'm behind GM, and I'm not a GM. My roots were not GM. But I think Rick Wagoner has done a whale of a job from the day he took over through the crisis that he almost fixed. And then along comes this bottoming out and the global crisis that we're all in now that no one person can fix. No one, it's us, and it's our expectations and our future actions that will change the tide from rolling out and getting shallower and shallower to a full charge of water or cash